Right. So today we are going to talk about an important aspect for business communication. What is the topic?
Email etiquettes.
Very good. Email etiquette. So this is the topic. Is very important, and we should learn this topic and we should practice this topic for our future purposes. So whenever we are dealing with business communication, we should have a good idea about email etiquette. So
Right.
how email etiquette is going to help us? So what are the things we need to keep in mind? So whenever we are talking about email etiquette, so what are the points we need to keep in mind generally? That is what the concept we are going to discuss now. All right. First point, aim and objectives of email etiquette. First of all, tell me, what does it mean by email? What does it mean by email?
Electronic mail.
Verb, electronic mail. Any other answers do you have with you? What do you think about email? See, in the olden days, there was a custom, right? So at the time of kings, so how they used to communicate, for example, they want to send a message from one king to another king. How they used to send the messages?
Either
By
through
messenger. By
Message.
messenger.
any
Yeah.
human messenger or
Bird.
Yes.
Bird messenger.
Yes, by using
Pigeon.
words or messages,
Pigeon,
Pigeon,
pigeon.
sir. Pigeon.
pigeons.
pigeons, right? So yeah, even eagles also they use for this kind of messages, right? So that was the custom. A later period after the kings, what was the medium? Like our great grandparents,
Telegram, sir.
telegram, superb. Later,
Inland
Phone
letters.
call.
yes,
Phone call.
Postcard. Inland.
postcards. Then after, we habituated to talk, phones, right? Everything, all the developments we all know, right? So email is the latest version of those kind of messages formats. Suppose there are so many different social media, we can share our messages in the form of videos also, right? But still, email has been playing a vital role in business communication. In our professional life, email is also playing a vital role, right? It's a kind of electronic mail. Electronic mail, in the sense, generally, if you say a letter in the form of, in electronic way.
Digital way.
It's a letter, but we are sending a letter through electronic media, right? So emails are such an essential form of communication in an organization, but how do we ensure that they do not lead to miscommunication? So this is a very important aspect. Of course, though there are a lot of different sources to communicate with others, but most of business organizations or most of business communications mostly based on or mostly rely on email writing, mostly rely on emails, right? So now the aim of this session is to, so what is the aim? Why we are discussing this concept? To provide you with the rules that should be followed when sending business email. So the first aim of email etiquette is to give you a clear idea about how to send. This session gives you tips for email etiquette, right? Next, help you create a better impression with your emails, and to show you that sloppily return emails waste time and money, right? So how to save your time and money. And next, demonstrate that for English spelling and grammar descripts and you, right? So here we are going to observe how to use correct English, the necessity of correct English. the necessity of correct spellings, necessity of correct grammar rules, right? So in the form of emails, generally we use a written communication, right? The written form of communication we use. So whenever we are writing a written communication, that's why I said earlier classes, in our previous classes, whenever we are speaking, sometimes you may have the opportunity to take your word back. But when it is a written word, we should be very careful. We should be careful, and the written word will be our evidence. It will be the evidence for our mistakes. It's going to be the primary evidence. So whenever we are writing emails, not only the emails, whenever we are writing anything, we should put more efforts. Right, objective. By the end of this session, you will be able to write an effective business email. All right. So without wasting any time, let's jump into the topic. Why do you need email etiquette? What is the need of emails? Right. So you just give me what are the areas we are using these emails in our day-to-day life. So you just give me a few examples. When we are using, why we are using. So what are the areas, what are the fields we are using emails? You just give me one or two names, one by one.
Business, job.
Business, job. Any other areas?
Reporting.
In bank.
Report, super banks. All right.
In our art of living.
Yes, in our art of living, right. So here, let me ask you one question. Can you find any job which is not related with email?
No.
We can't find, right? So we can easily understand the importance of email etiquette. Email etiquette is very important aspect for our day-to-day life. Of course, it might be the professional life, though it is our professional life. Without knowing emails, without emails in our life, mostly our business communication, it's not complete. It doesn't complete without emails, right? Now, a company needs to implement etiquette or rules for the following three reasons. Why do we need email etiquette, right? So these are the three rules we need to keep in mind. These are the three reasons we need to keep in mind. So first one, professionalism. Professionalism. By using proper email language, your company will convey a professional image. Right? Why we are using email? Because if you send any improper or which is not so good, automatically it will damage the image of your organization, right? To keep up your image, to improve your business, we need professional emails, right? So we need to write proper language, proper email language, which can give more respect and which can bring a lot of business to our organization. That is what the meaning of professionalism. We should use professional language. So if you talk about any different company, for example, if you're talking about pharmaceuticals, so pharmaceuticals language is different from other industries, right? Software industry, even the software industry language is different from hardware industry, right? So manufacturers language different from the service centers. For every company, for every organization, for every industry, they'll have their own terms and conditions, they'll have their own vocabulary, right? So we should use professional words, proper words. That's nothing but function words. Okay, we should use function words. Next, second point, second thing we need to keep in mind, efficiency. Efficiency. Emails that get to the point are much more effective than poorly worded emails. The words emails that get to the point are much more effective than poorly worded emails. Okay, so if you write proper emails, then automatically it can do the best and it can give you the best results rather than your words. Okay, if you use proper words, if you write proper email, automatically the benefits will be more than the words. Of course, words are very important, but when compared with the words, if you write proper email, then automatically it will give you a lot of benefits. Next, protection from liability. All right. So nowadays we all know that how society has been in different, has been in dangerous situations in terms of safety, right? So mostly, for example, if you talk about bank, right? Sending the documents, hard copies. If you send the hard copies of documents from one place to another place, there must be any problem. There might be some problems. But if you send email, mostly the hackers can do anything, but others can be able to do. Even for hackers also, if you follow some safety measures, that also we can avoid it. Right? So it's a good idea to rely on emails rather than sending the documents hard copies. Correct? So it will give you a lot of protection, a lot of safety for your identity or for your data, whatever the data we are discussing. Right? So these are the 3 points, 3 components we need to keep in mind while we are writing emails. What are the 3 points? Professionalism, efficiency, and then protection. Right? Protection is nothing but safety. Next, do's and don'ts of emails. What we should do while we are writing emails. What we shouldn't do while we are writing emails. So we should discuss the pros and cons of writing emails. First, do's. So these are the areas we need to keep in mind, and these are the areas we should follow while writing emails. So be concise and to the point. So whenever we are writing the emails, we should be concise. We should write sweet and short. We should write sweet and short. So if it is general conversation, if it is general talk, we may speak more. But when it comes to the professional email, business email, in that case, we should write sweet and short. It should talk about the point. If you give unnecessary information in that email, what happens? The actual essence, the actual point may be overlooked. There might be a chance of overlooked, right? So we should clear, and it should be sweet and short in the sense it should be short and clear enough to the next person, the person who received our mail. It should denote the actual point. What is the purpose of that mail? Right? Next. Answer all questions and preempt further questions. So whenever we are receiving a mail or whenever we are writing a mail, if you get any questions, if you get any queries, we should be able to give all the answers. If you do not answer all the questions first time, you will receive further mails. Okay, so this is our responsibility to answer all the questions. For example, if a company is asking for some data, if you send one question answer, and if you forgot next question or some other question, and you send the mail, again they will send you the mail. Again, you need to answer. So it will be like a little bit embarrassing situation. In that case, to avoid all those things, what we need to do is we need to write all the answers to give clear information. Right?
Right.
Next, answer swiftly. So customers send an email because they wish to receive a quick response. Right? So whenever you are receiving a mail from the customer in the sense, obviously they expect a better and fast response, from the service center. So in that case, what we need to do is, whenever we receive a mail, we should respond as fast as you can. The best idea is, whatever the date you received the mail, by the end of the day, we should respond. We should give reply to that person. For example, you received a complaint against a product from the customer, right? You can't be able to solve that problem in one day, of course. Everyone knows that. But at least we should acknowledge them that we received a complaint from the customer. Yes, we received a complaint from you on so and so issue. Now we are in the process to solve your problem. Please bear us for the time, whatever the time you are expecting, whatever the time you are seeking to solve that problem. You just mentioned it. Then it shows that you are very interested in the customers and you are serving, you are providing good service, right? So it's just a matter of one mail, but it shows a lot of difference in thought process of clients, customers. Okay, so if we acknowledge the emails, then automatically they'll be able to understand that your company is very so serious about customer satisfaction, right? And sometimes what happens, we will send some mails, right? Some companies, they don't respond, they don't give any acknowledgement. In that case, how do we feel? Of course, we all know that whether the mail sent or not, we'll be able to understand that easily. But the next problem is we can't be able to understand whether they have seen the mail or not. The mail will deliver to them, no doubt about it. But we can't be able to understand whether they have gone through the mail or not, whether they skipped the mail or not, whether they are doing, whether they are working on our mail or not. So we don't get any information if they don't respond. So it's not a good idea. So what we should do is, we need to answer as fast as we can. Once we receive the mail, though you are not able to give the solution on the same day, it's not at all a problem, but we should respond to them that you received the mail. Then they may feel very happy about your organization. This is what called customer satisfaction, right? Use templates for frequently used responses. Right, while writing the mails, you have a lot of opportunities. You can use templates. You can use all these, whatever the data, for example, if you are sending the same kind of messages, you can save it and you can copy and paste it on your mail. Right? So try to use templates for frequently used responses. Every time you don't need to type and send. Right? Every time if you are typing and sending, it may take some extra time. And sometimes you may overlook some words, right? So sometimes the data may change, right? For frequent messages, for example, for acknowledgement of mail, right? For acknowledgement of mail. So what you can send, you can use a template that we received a message from you, and we are happy to inform you that simply we can say, we are happy to inform you that we received a complaint from you. You don't need to mention, you don't need to disclose that what is the complaint, right? So of course it's a template message, but how the customer feels, he feels very happy because he received a response from the client. He received a response from the customer care. That is the way the email plays a vital role in our day-to-day life. Now, use proper structure and layout. So, as I said just before, email is nothing but it's a form of, it's a kind of letter, correct? So, here also, while we are preparing or while we are drafting a letter, while we are writing a letter, no doubt we should follow some proper alignment. Similar way, while we are writing an email, we should follow the same structure and layout. We should follow proper structure and layout. It's a good idea to use proper structure and layout. If you don't follow the proper structure and layout, automatically it shows that how interested you are, how organized, whether you are well organized or not, they can easily understand by the email, right? Next, keep your language gender neutral. We should never use he, she, he, like that. So we don't need to mention the gender. We don't need to refer the genders. Simply we can use neutral language, neutral gender language. For example, you don't need to say I, Pramod Kumar, she, he, like that. We don't need to mention. Simply we. Or you can say simply I. Right? Instead of using I, it's a good idea. If you are working for any company, it's a good idea to use we rather than I. First person singular is, it's a good idea to use first person plural rather than first person singular. Right? So avoid using gender specific language such as the user should add a signature to his emails. If you don't know the gender, right, in that case it will be a problem. So it's a good idea. Simple. For example, if you need to add a signature, don't need to mention whose signature it might be. So just mention signature. Signature. Easy. Right? And take care with abbreviations and emoticons. So we should be careful with emoticons. Every emoticon has its own meaning. Right? Abbreviations. Even abbreviations also. So most of the people, what they used to do is they simply send their abbreviations. But we should know that one point, we should keep in mind one particular point, that of course you know that language. Of course you might be know all the abbreviations, but you can't predict that whether your receiver knows that or not. Correct? So whenever you are sending any abbreviations, it's a good idea to send it in full form. Right? So if you want to send abbreviations, try to use the abbreviation along with, within the brackets, you can send the full form of that abbreviation. Right? So it's a good idea. We should not send abbreviations alone. There is a problem. If you send abbreviations directly, if they don't know that, they can't be able to understand it. If they don't understand automatically, they can't be able to respond to that. Correct? So we should send the abbreviations which can be understandable to all the people. Right?
Right. Right.
Good.
Sir, but in the salutation, can we write dear sir / madam?
Why we are bothered that much? Dear, simply. Dear is acceptable. Or respected.
Respected sir or madam? No.
No need. Respected,
Okay.
simply. Respected,
Okay.
comma, that's it. Dear, comma, that's it. That is
New
called
thing to me.
neutral language. See,
Yes, sir. That's nice.
instead of sending respected sir or madam, simply we can say dear.
Yes.
Then you can give the introduction, who you are, what you are. Then you can give your purpose of email. Then you can mention your expectations or whatever the reason why you are sending that mail. Everything you can mention.
Yes.
So instead of sending hi sir, hello sir, dear sir, like that.
Yes.
So it may lead, sometimes it may lead because we can be able to know whether the same person who males, this is one more problem with the males, right? So for example, by looking at the mail ID, we may feel that that is a male, but they may, for example, if some lady, instead of sending her mail, if she created a mail on her husband's name, then automatically it will,
It's really a nice idea. I will implement it now onwards. So it is great confusion for me many times.
yes, while sending the mail, simply we can send neutral language.
Right.
All right. And next, read your email before you send it. Proofreading. This is nothing but proofreading. So once you write a mail, it's a mandatory thing. At least we should go through twice, minimum twice, because as I said just before, a written format means it is going to be the evidence. It will be the primary evidence for our mistakes. Okay. So that is why we should check every word, spelling, pronunciation. I mean, pronunciation in the sense, it doesn't mean that we are not going to pronounce that, right? Spelling and correct sentence formation, grammatical structures, everything we should observe. We should check before sending the mail. Once you have gone through the mail, right? If you ask me what is the best way to send the mails, before typing the message, try to write down whatever you want to send the message. Just do a proofread on this. Then type the message, same message. Then once again proofread on that, right? Then if there are any necessary modifications, do that, and again, once again, go through all the mail and just check it out. Finally, you can send the mail, right? So this is a good way to send a message, send a mail, right? A proofread should be done before sending the mails. Use proper spellings, grammar, punctuation, everything. We should use proper spelling, grammar, and punctuation, right? And use spell check. It's a good idea to spell check before sending the mails. And use proper signature. Whenever we are sending a mail, we should use proper signature, right? Use a meaningful subject and use active instead of passive. So use a meaningful subject. So whenever we are using, we should use a meaningful subject. Whenever you are writing a mail, we should send the subject. Without the subject, we should never send a mail. It's not professional way sending a mail without a subject, right? So we should send a mail with proper subject, and we should use active voice rather than passive voice. So passive voice mostly we should avoid. We should avoid passive voice. Okay. So far, is it clear? Right. So, last class we discussed email etiquette and we discussed what are the do's and don'ts, right? So now we are going to continue with the part 2 of email etiquette, do's and don'ts. Right. Avoid using urgent, important, urgent and important. So most of the times when we get the mail, sometimes we can see these kind of words like consider it as urgent, consider it as prime, important, like that, right? So whenever we are writing the emails, we should avoid these words, urgent and important. All right? And avoid long sentences. Try to be brief. Try to be brief. So why we are talking, why we are saying that we should not use long sentences rather than why we are why shouldn't we use long sentences? Because if we write longer sentences, what happens? Mostly they may miss the actual meaning. Because of a lot of words, they may miss some meaning. So in that case, what the best thing what we can use our confirmation, our information should be like short and sweet. Then automatically they'll be able to easily understand it. See, the actual reason behind sending a mail, the actual reason behind sending a mail is to give clear information and to be done our business in a proper way and proper time, in a proper time, right? So if you are not understandable to the other person, then it makes no sense. That is why we should be very, I mean, the information, I'm talking about the body of the mail, it should be very short and sweet. It should be understandable easily. While writing the emails, we should never use jargons, we should never use any other short forms, or we should never use any kind of emoticons. Of course, you can use emoticons, but whatever the emoticon you are mentioning, instead of mentioning emoticons, it's a good idea to use the meaning or the actual expression. And abbreviations also, we should give complete abbreviations for short forms, right? Sometimes what happens, whatever the short form we know, it may not be, we can't predict that whether the receiver is complete knowledge about those short forms or not. We can't be able to predict it. So in that case, we should write a clear version. If you want to use those kind of abbreviations, absolutely acceptable. But within the brackets, what you can do is you can use, you can write complete version, complete meaning. Then only it will be easy for them to understand. Now, we are talking about don'ts. Do not attach unnecessary files. While sending the mails, do not, never ever attach unnecessary files. If it is mandatory, if it is necessary, then only we should attach any files. Sending large attachments can annoy some people and even bring down their email system. Wherever possibly, try to compress attachments and only send them when it is productive. So for example, if you want to send more attachments, it's a good idea to compress it. So compressing nothing but let me make a zipper and send it. It will be easy for them to download and it will be easy for them to find out all the information. If it is necessary to send the files, then only we could do all these things. If there is no need of sending attachments, it's a good idea not to send. Directly convey whatever you want to convey. It's a good idea to do that. And do not overuse the high priority option. You should never use very important, very urgent, like that. So these kind of things, higher priority words, we should avoid. Do not overuse the higher priority option. Right? So whenever we are sending higher priority, sometimes only, whenever it is needed, then only we should use higher priority option. Otherwise, we should not use this higher priority option. Right? Why? Why we shouldn't use higher priority option? If you observe the second point, second line, the use of higher priority can be misunderstood as aggressive. Right? So there is a chance of misunderstood your concept. So it is a good idea not to use more frequently higher priority option. Next, do not write in capitals. We should never use capitals in email writing. Why? Why we shouldn't use capitals? If we use capitals, it can be understood that you are so angry, aggressive. So we should never use capitals in email writing. Alright? So whenever we are in angry mode, then only we use capital. So most of the people, without knowing that concept, they use capital letters as highlighting the concept. But the fact is, if you use capital letters, the person who knows the meaning of capital letters, they'll consider it as you are angry at them. Okay, so we should not use capital letters. And if you want to highlight, you can use different font, or you can just bold it, but don't do it frequently in body of the mail. Whatever the important point you want to convey, you can write it down in a new paragraph, or you can mention it in a with notes, or you can mention the same concept by simply bolding that, right? So by apply bold option, then automatically it will be highlighted. Right? Sometimes what you can do is you can add some colors also. Right? So those are the best ways we can send, and we can give any highlight to highlight the information. But we should never use capital letters for highlighting the concept. Right? Do not leave out the message thread. So always we should reply with history. To include the original mail, which will keep a record of all correspondence related to the subject. So what we need to do is, for example, you received a mail, you need to respond to that. Instead sending a new mail, or instead sending another mail, what we can do is we just need to reply onto that. You should reply onto that. So whatever the mail we receive, if we click on reply, automatically the whole data will be in one particular mail. Why should we do that? Because, so for example, if there are multiple conversations with you and the say other person, I mean whomever you received the mail, if you have the conversation multiple times, it is not possible to check out all the places wherever you receive the mails, right? Because in between you may receive some other mails also. In that case, you need to spend more time, and there might be a chance of missing actual mail. That is why if we use the same mail or like a thread, so simply clicking on reply, then automatically what happens, all mails, whatever the conversation you both had, the whole concept will be in one particular mailbox only. Then automatically it will be easy for you and for the next person to go through the conversations from the day one onwards. So for example, the conversation, for example, on the day one, they sent you a business proposal. Day two, you have seen the business proposal and you just send acknowledge it. Next day, you also some clarification on different terms and conditions. So next day, they have sent you some terms and conditions. Again, next day, you ask some other doubts like that. So the concept, whatever the discussion had happened, it should be in one particular place. Then only you will be able to go through it once again whenever you want to go. All right. But if you send different mails, what happens? There might be there might be a chance of missing the mails, and which leads to misunderstanding or miscommunication. So it's a good idea to use the reply button for the mails. It's a good idea to talk. If you want to talk with same person, it's a good idea to use the reply button directly instead of sending a new mail. Next, do not demand action or request it. You should never demand action. You should request it. So most of the people, what they do is, if they want to be done or if they want to take some actions, see, whenever we are sending a letter, what we need to do, we need to request them. We can't demand them to do that. All right? So we should use polite language, and we should request to be to take some necessary action. So, for example, if you are complaining about some bad situation or something happened wrong in your area, so you are sending a mail to the concerned authority. For example, the water system is not proper, the drinking water system is not proper in your area. So you need to complain to the municipal officer, municipal commissioner, like that. So in a case, how can we send the mail? So, sir, this is the problem. So we are bringing this incident to your kind notice. That like that we need to send the mail. So at the end, what we need to do? Sir, we are here. We are expecting your positive response or speedy response to solve our situation. That is the way we should send. We can't command them. Correct? So whenever we are writing, whenever we are sending the mails, our language should be more polite. We should never demand action, but you can request it. Right? And do not overuse. Do not overuse reply to all. Okay, we should never use reply to all. I mean, overuse. Only reply to all if you need your message to be seen by everybody. If it is necessary, then only reply to all. Then only you can use reply to all. Otherwise, no need to use that. Because if you send always the same conversation, sometimes what happens, so whatever the message you are sending to the one person, automatically if you use reply to all, automatically it will go to all the people. Right? So in that case, for example, if you don't want to send the same message to someone, that person also will receive that mail. So it's not a good idea to overuse reply to all. Next, do not forward chain letters. Right? So we should never forward chain letters. So chain letters in the sense, so if you observe WhatsApp, there will be a lot of unnecessary messages. So before you, today only I got a message. Actually, I have seen this message when Narendra Modi became Prime Minister for the first time. At that point of time, I received a message that I have seen this message a couple of years ago in the WhatsApp. The message is you need to send this message at least to 10 people, to 5 groups. If you want to continue your WhatsApp group, if you want to continue your WhatsApp account to be active, if you don't send this message to at least 10 members or 5 groups, your account, WhatsApp account, automatically it will be locked. If you want to unlock it again, you need to send all these things, all this message to be circulated to 10 members, like that. So even today also I received the same message. I have seen this message more than 2 or 3 years ago, but the same message circulating since then. Right? So similar kind of mails will be received from so many companies, so many advertising companies will receive some spam messages. Simply we can say spam messages. So whenever we get those kind of messages, it's a good idea to delete them whenever we receive. It's not good to forward it. Why? Whenever we are forwarding a message, in the sense we are liable to take actions, because whenever you are sending a message, in a sense, whenever you are forwarding a message, in a sense, you are accepting for the terms and conditions. So it is not a good idea to forward all the messages. Whatever we receive, it's not a good idea to forward all the time, because those messages can lead to their circumstances. It's not a good idea to send. It is not a good idea to forward all the messages. That to chain letters, chain messages. Not asked to recall a message. Right? This is pointless unless you do it immediately. Right? After you send it, otherwise it would have been read. So for example, if a mail missed, for missing of mails, there are a lot of reasons. For example, before the mail sent, if you log out, I mean before the mail sent, if you log out from your account, it can be able to send. We should wait until the mail sent. That is one problem. Sometimes technical issues like, for example, if the receiver's mail box full, in that case they can't be able to receive any new mail. So in that case, what they need to do is they need to release some old messages which are unnecessary for him. So they need to release old messages, then only he'll be able to receive new messages. Right? If the storage data, so if you observe, for every mail there is a minimum space. I think as per my knowledge, 15 GB, correct? So there will be a space of 15 GB to store your data on the mail. If it exceeds, automatically the mail will give you a caution to release some data to receive new messages. So if the mail exceeds that storage capacity, automatically they can't be able to receive the messages. In that case, we should never ask them to recall the message I sent so on so date, like that. We don't need to say. Okay, it's not a good idea. If something went wrong, try to search for the solutions and then, if possible, try to send it again. What's wrong in it? Right. Next, do not use email to.
Hello, sir. Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah. Allow me to tell me.
Yes, sir. Again, please go to backward and again, please explain why it is not a good idea to recall the message.
All right. See, for example, what happens sometimes if you send a message to one guy, it miss. Maybe by mistake he must be released that message. I mean, deleted that message, or sometimes if he is not received that mail.
Okay.
Right. In that case, what happens? Instead of asking to recall, or instead of check it once, all those things, instead of doing all those things, so what we can do is, the best thing what we can do is, for example, if you log out from the mail before it's sent, okay, so we just started the message, we just clicked on send, the very next moment we logged out of the mail, the very next moment, even we haven't spare a few seconds. In that case, what happens? So it will to send a message automatically, it will take few seconds. Correct? The network is proper, if you are using proper network. So even that time, if you don't give, if you log out automatically, it can be able to send, it will be in the outbox. Okay. So in that case, if you shout on the receiver that check it once, I already sent, right? So I sent that day, like that. So instead of agreeing, it's a good idea to cross-check once whether the mail has sent to him or not. If he doesn't receive, the next person, if he doesn't receive, what's wrong in it if you send it again?
Means there is no need to give him any reminder type of thing.
No need.
This mail I have sent you. Please check it up.
No need. And one more thing, if their mail is full, the storage capacity is full, then automatically no one can receive the mail.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So in that case, if you are pretty sure that you sent the mail, already it went to that person, it received by that person, in that case, you can suggest him, try to figure out what's the problem. Right?
Yes.
Before asking him to take those actions, it's a good idea to send second time. Send the same mail once again, and then we can ask them to check out whether the storage capacity
mail is receiving or not.
Yeah. So then it will be easy for us to make proper relationship with the clients.
Right. Now I am getting.
Yeah. Do not use email to discuss confidential information. This is a very important aspect because most of the people are using free version of emails, right? So we are not using paid versions mostly. In the case, it is not a good idea to use emails to discuss confidential information. Even I don't think so that even the paid versions are so safety or not. But as far as my knowledge, it's not a good idea to discuss confidential information in emails because whatever the data we are browsing through the net, mostly it will be recorded with third person, third party who are providing the network for us, right?
Right.
So it's not a good idea to discuss all the personal details like confidential information in email. It's not a good idea.
But nowadays, sir, there is a self-destruction messages facility and encryption facilities available with the mail.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So definitely self-destruction mail also, it will take some time, correct?
We can assign the time to destruction.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, if you assign 1 hour,
Right, sir.
do you think that, can you predict that even within that hour, no one can kept your data?
Yeah. It's totally part of, it's a technical part, sir.
Exactly,
We should not
exactly.
discuss here.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly. So even 1 minute, we can't predict the future. Even after sending the mail, the very next moment, the cyber hackers may hack our mail.
That's it.
We can't
They are
predict
all
about a third person.
Right.
Yes. Even I don't understand why they are hacking the mails. If we are
Lot of
great personalities, if we are great business magnates, okay. In the case if they hack, okay, we can understand that because of their, because of their popularity, then they hacked. Even for common people, even for students' mails also they are hacking. I don't understand what they can do with the students' mails.
It is meaningless, sir.
Exactly.
It should be
Yeah,
intentionally, it's okay.
One of my students asking, sir, someone is using my mail, sir.
No, that was a lame excuse many times.
I just told him, just change the password. Why you are so worried
That's
about
only the reason. Yes,
Why you are so worried about it? You just change the password.
correct. Okay, sir.
So these are funny things, right? Do not reply to an angry email immediately. So this is also a good idea. Even when we spoke about telephone etiquette, we discussed this point. If the client is so angry, right? Not only the client, it's a good idea not to speak anything when we are in angry or when they are in angry, right? So angry can spoil the relationship. So it's a good idea. At least take some time to start conversation.
Okay.
Whether we are in angry mode or whether they are in angry mode, it's not a good idea. But sometimes even if the next person is so angry at us, if you don't respond, that also leads to some other direct circumstances. So in that case, what we need to do is we need to think about the circumstances and about the mentality of the next person. Based on that, we should act accordingly. So it is purely based on the mentality of human beings. So we can't be able to, we can't suggest completely do like this, do like that, right? So we can give a little information whenever in the situation is in angry mode. It's not advisable to talk.
Right.
Right? Time can heal. At least 5 minutes.
Time can heal.
Like that. So at least we should wait for 1 hour minimum. All right. Now, points to remember. So far we discussed a lot of points. We need to remember a few more points. Always
Sir.
a subject for every mail.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
in angry mood, people are in hurry to talk
That is the
and hurry
weakness.
to
That
respond.
is the
And
actual
hurry to
weakness.
respond.
Exactly. So that is the weakness. We should never respond when we are in angry or when they are in angry.
Yes, yes.
We have to start counting.
Yes. So it spoils the relationship.
Correct. Fully.
Even if you observe, taking decisions in angry is also leads to dangerous situations. So it's a
But
good
sir,
habit.
many a time, people are ignoring also. You get angry, it's okay. Do not talk, and you get some space to them or stop for talking. But many a times, people ignoring your angerness and your others' emotions also. They may be damage your relationship.
Yes, yes,
It's their way to express their anger.
exactly.
But
If someone
nobody is so polished in talking and expressing, na.
Ma'am, here
Somebody
what I would
are
like to suggest is we should never expect anything from others. So if we are able to do our job best, that's enough.
sir, always we are I am agree with you,
Yeah.
but how is it possible to at every moment you should be giver? Sir, in relationship, many time is philosophy is saying that no expectation from anybody. But how is it possible? I want that my husband give me salary because of the is my family is surviving from his salary. Many a male people don't give his salary in house. Many people don't take efforts for their family. You know all that. Then how we should say that don't expect from anybody? Expectation is very natural. Some expectation is very natural, that husband should come at 9 o'clock before night and all this. I'm talking about family, not in friendship and office culture.
Yeah. But here,
yeah,
what see, these are all very sensitive issues. So in that case, what we need to do is we need to think about both sides. There are
Yes, sir.
very
It is about, that's why I'm telling. In always WhatsApp, always one message is spreading, supplying. Don't expect. You expect, you lose your love, you lose our relationship. But how is it possible? I mean, is it technically or logically possible? No, sir.
no, reciprocation is the human tendency.
see.
Of course, sir, reciprocation is there. You always think that your daughter or your kids should study every day. Yes, this is the expectation, and this is the normal expectation.
No, in different situations, we have to express our relationship or our emotions in different way, based on the situations.
In relationship, without giving a word, authority is come. Yes, yes, sir.
It's
Yes.
sensitive issues.
These are all
No, still also, it is sensitive issue. Still, it is sensitive, na.
right, right.
See, our class is at 4:30 sharp. Okay.
Yeah.
Then naturally, sir, you will expect all of us, be present as 4:30. Is it not expectation? As every day, if every day we all will be late at 4:45, there some anger will come in your mind, or some thought will come. I am not taking that anger will come, but some negative thought will come, how they are irresponsible, such like that. Expectation is the
Yes.
part of our life, sir. I
No,
am not agree with this sentence or philosophical sentence that don't do expectation from anyone.
No. Here the concept is expectations in the sense, if they don't do that, we may miss something. Those kind of expectations we should not have. Right?
don't react, but act.
Yes.
Actually,
We just need to respond. We don't need to react.
Sir,
that male
respond
thing.
is also
Thought,
expectation, na, sir. If you don't respond,
no.
relationship
No,
will
no.
be
Reaction, no,
There is a lot of
difference.
difference between respond and reaction. So a response can give you, mostly can give you a solution, but reaction can spoil the situation.
What's the difference between respond and reaction?
So for
For
example,
example,
yeah, for example, if you are in a deep sorrow, right?
yes, yes.
You are in deep sorrow, feeling bad about the situation is a response. Okay, feeling distressed is response. Reaction means whether when you are in deep sorrow, it doesn't mean that you need to express that to all, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
you are in deep sorrow, you know that.
Yes, yes.
In that case, by shouting on others or by spoiling the environment or by throwing the things here and there in the house, it doesn't change the situation, right? So for example, your kid is not listening to your words.
Okay,
You got angry. So
okay.
this is called response. Your kid is not listening to you, that's why you got angry. That is response.
Okay,
Then what would be the reaction? He doesn't listen to you. Instead of explaining him the need of listening to the parents, if you shout on him, if you continuously beating on him, or if you are throwing the things here and there in the house, it doesn't make any
Okay.
sense.
So
That is
instant
called
reaction.
reaction. So a response means you need to think about the situation, you need to think about the solutions, circumstances and solutions, and you need to act according to that.
Accordingly, yes, sir.
Yes, that is called response. Reaction means overly doing that. Unnecessarily, we are carrying extra burden.
It means reaction should be smart.
Yes, no.
No.
Reaction is negative way. Response is positive. Whatever it might be, positive in the sense, whatever the situation, according to that only it will happen. That is called response. So if your son, for example, if your son is so small, he is a small kid, 5 years or 7 years old.
Okay,
He is not eating properly.
okay.
So what should be the response? You should go to him and you have to try to help him how to eat. You need to teach him how to eat. That is what called response. Instead of trying to help him to eat properly, if you take out the food from his mouth, what would happen?
Yes,
So that is what
understand.
called reaction.
Okay,
So a reaction can give negative reflection. A
okay.
response can create a positive reflection.
Okay, this
You
is
can-
for our
and-
side. But
Yes.
many a
And
times
you can
opposite
control the action also. If you are respond means you are controlling the situation. You can giving the action with a controlling manner.
Yes,
for any situation.
you both male are very smart, huh?
No, ma'am.
Not like that.
See, sir,
No.
see.
If someone is give us the slap and we instantly give him the slap.
I make joke, but very nicely you are
Sure.
explaining to me. I want to ask. See, if I am in sorrow because of my family members' behavior. Yes, when I am in sorrow, that I should expect that they should understand me that I am in sorrow. But if they are react in opposite manners, they are shouting on me at that time. What I have to do? I will become again deeply again
No.
sorrow. My sorrow
No,
will be
no.
increased.
No, ma'am. That time you have to stay in same situation, but after some time you have to convey what you are
You can
thinking,
explain
what your
them what
explain
happened,
them.
why you are in that mood.
Why not?
And
Why
let
you
me
should
let
not,
me give you one example. Let me give you an example. Right. So basically, I'm just talking about myself. Right. So basically,
Yes.
I don't like a person always crying.
Sir, every male is like that, not you. They don't like wife is crying.
No.
They
Not only the
avoid
wife.
it.
anyone, even in the
Anyone,
bazaar, while I'm going in the bazaar, if someone crying once, okay, I can bear. If they continuously crying, I don't like it, right?
Yes.
So in that case, my response should be, for example, if I can, I should go and I should try to console them. That
Okay.
is one response. Another response,
Yes.
if I can't do anything, I should shut my mouth and I have to go on my way. That is second response. Instead of doing all those things, if I go and shout on them, what happens? They forget why they are crying and they'll start fighting with me. Correct? That is what called reaction. Of course, I don't like it, but it doesn't mean that they should accept my all words. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and one more example. Let me give you one more example. If someone is crying because he lost his dear ones, it might be the father, it might be the mother, it might be the pet dog, whatever it may be. He lost something, and he is in deep sorrow. He has been crying. That is the
Yes.
situation. In that case, what we need to do, if possible, we should try to console them. Instead of console them unnecessarily, if we go and let me give you two different situations for this, two different reactions. Instead of consoling, if you go and cry with him, what happens?
Yes. I know this.
He
Yes,
already
yes.
crying.
Yes. Yes.
If
Yes.
you start crying, what happens?
Yes.
He'll go to the next mile. The
Yes.
sorrow will
Exactly.
increase. It's not going to be reduced. It is going to be increased. That is one reaction,
Yes.
negative reaction. Second
Yes.
reaction, the
Yes.
same person is crying. In that case, instead of consoling him, if you shout on him that always you cry like this, like that only, if you shout on him, automatically it will also create negative impression on us. It will spoil the relationship. So it's not a good idea to react to any situation. It's a good idea to respond. If we can tackle the situation, obviously you can do it. But if we can't tackle the situation, it's a good idea. Just be calm. Automatically, it will give you a little bit comfort and little bit comfort for others also. Once you all comfort, then automatically you can start conversation. So as you said, the wife generally expects the husband to be look after the family and help in most of the situations like that. So it's a quite common expectation. If he doesn't do, we don't need to feel sad. We don't need to feel bad about him. Try to speak. If he doesn't listen to you, okay, no problem. 1 second try. What's wrong in it? It doesn't mean that we are losing our self-respect. In relationship, there should not be any question of self-respect, ego, and all. If it is a relationship, then automatically, okay, sometimes we should go down, sometimes they should come down. So this is quite common.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay.
Right. So,
One thing is with me that only one. I have one weak point, sir. I agree this. If my partner is not talking with me,
okay.
not my partner, even my friend, if they